Hello, this is Coach Sammy33, and we are going to look at the offseason and the draft for the Chicago Bears in the UGL PS5 Madden League. So, kicking off, let's start with free agency. This is going to be extended into the regular season as well. The Bears needed to do a couple things to get Trey Burton after the Jimmy Graham retirement. We lose our starting center, which wasn't great anyway. We signed Justin Britt, both on one-year deals, stopgaps until we can figure out something that really helps us out down the road. And then we add a defensive piece for Rasul Douglas, former Eagle corner. He's going to start across from Johnson, so we upgrade at cornerback. And then after losing a running back, a backup to David Montgomery, we go get Royce Freeman. Try to do something to give a different look. We had Peterson last season, super helpful in the run game, especially in the power ground rush. Try to do something a little bit different there. We're going to turn our focus to the draft. So looking in the first round, the big thing that we were looking at is we needed to address the trenches on the offensive side and linebackers on the defensive side. We're trying to convert the defense to a Tampa 2 from a 3-4, which is always difficult. Usually linebackers are good at pressuring they're able to fill gaps, middle linebackers, and your outside linebackers are pass rushers that occasionally can drop into coverage. But we need guys that are able to actually just get back, drop depth, play those hook zones, those cloud zones. Offensively, though, man, our offense line was so bad throughout the entirety of the first season that we felt that ultimately you take the best player available. For us, we felt that was on the offensive line. We were a big fan of Munford looking in the draft. He's got some good measurables, good in the run blocking game, good in the pass blocking game, and obviously we need someone that can do both, especially if you're going to play left tackle. You need a guy that is going to protect Justin, and you also need a guy that's going to be able to get out there and make those kick out blocks on runs. Hidden draft development, we're happy with what we got. We think he'll be a solid addition to this team and hopefully will be a dominant offensive lineman going forward for us for the remainder of this franchise. We'll look at some of the other players that we didn't take just to kind of see what they look like and maybe, a miss here, miss there. Going to the third round. Big pick for us here as well. Again, we don't have a first round pick, so we're a little behind the 8 ball. There's some guys coming off the board that we were looking at that we weren't able to get. So then we have to make a decision with this pick. Do we want to double down on offensive lineman? We knew also coming in we needed to get a tight end. Jimmy Graham retired. Though we signed Burton after, that didn't happen until after the draft, so we were kind of concerned that we didn't have enough depth at tight end. Safety depth, what else are you looking at for this team? We needed a third quarterback, so we looked at safety. We were really high on Bell. We were hoping that maybe you would be able to get him later in the draft. As you can see there, he's got some pretty decent attributes, at least from what we can see, but we definitely thought highly of him. Safety was a position because we knew whoever we drafted would pretty much be an automatic starter, but ultimately we decided, safety's nice. There are definitely some solid guys out there, but linebacker is just so much more important. We need guys that can get to the football, potentially rush the quarterback if asked, but we needed someone to drop back in coverage and be able to make plays and just play disciplined zone defense. So we go out in Florida, we get Ventral Miller. You can see there, he's got some solid speed, 87 speed, 85 excel. That's definitely not bad for a linebacker at all. I know there are some that were faster in the draft, but trust me, 87 speed for a linebacker is nothing to complain about. Normal development, totally fine. We just need you to be able to do one thing, drop back into coverage. We liked his measurables. We like what we saw out of him. We're really hopeful that he's going to be a nice addition to the squad. He's going to start for us. What happens with Ogletree and Trevathan, we'll see. But we drafted him with the intention of starting. Coming into the 5th round, got 2 picks here. So we've got pick 7 and we've got our normal pick. So we looked at tight end. We like some of the guys that we saw later. There were a couple again that we were looking at. Cody Odden was a guy, or Cade Odden, whichever, I forget now, was a guy that we were really high on, but he got picked. We were just kind of hoping one of those guys would drop down. So you can see by the time we got here to this point in the draft, there weren't a lot of options left. It's either take a guy that was, projected as a day 3, or take an undrafted free agent and hope for the best. With Mallory, we're happy with what we have with him. He's got some solid speed, 82, 85. He's not a speedster by any means, but as a tight end, just needs you to be shifty, take up space in the middle of the field, potentially be able to block in the run game. Normal development, so again, nothing super special. But at this point in our offseason, we didn't have trade burden, so you had Cole Kmet on one side, Mallory on the other. Felt like it would be something that we might be able to work with. You can see catching is not bad, it's a C. Not a terrible pick, but a pick of need, so we had to go with it. But then we go to the last pick in the 5th round, so we did need another quarterback. Chat definitely was amused by this pick because, you know, we didn't really need a quarterback. Let's be honest. Fields is going to start, and if he gets hurt, Foles starts, and at that point, if Fields is actually out for any considerable amount of time, we're going to sign a backup behind Foles. Like, whoever this guy wasn't going to play, so technically we probably could have drafted a quarterback later. But hey, Bo Nix, why not, right? Bo is the super fan of chat. Damn, Bo. Kappa. But, you know, he's a guy that at least we know we can be somewhat excited with. Could do some other things with him, maybe put him in some RPOs. Not a total loss, but we need a third quarterback. We had to do what we had to do. And then we make our only trade in the draft, and actually ended up being pretty helpful. We had a 6th round pick. We talked with the Patriots, defending AFC champs. So you knew they were picking at the end of the round, and he was looking to move up into the 6th round to get a sub linebacker. Not the guy that he was hoping for, but for us, we did need depth in a couple of spots. So like, hey, you know, let's move back in the draft. Let's get an extra pick, and that extra pick will end up turning into, you know, 2 bodies for us. So we drafted Ron Wilkerson. We don't have a center on the roster at this point. Remember, again, we signed Britt after the draft, so he's not great, but we need backup offensive linemen, because believe me, we can never have enough. The worst thing to have happen is we not have enough offensive linemen and multiple go down. At least need an offensive lineman. Even if he sucks, at least he kind of knows what to do. I don't even know if he goes in the tight end. Defensive tackle, like, I honestly don't know. But last pick, they're close to Mr. Relevant, the prelude. We did need a safety. We missed on a couple that we were looking at. We thought, you know, hey, maybe we can even go corner and turn the corner into a safety. But ultimately, we said, you know what? We're just going to take a safety and we're going to make it work. We like what we saw with Harvell Peel. You know, decent size, normal development, nothing super special. 88 speed, 92 excel. So, you know, kind of your stereotypical, you know, corner, average speed. Well, I guess in Madden, average speed. Some good measurables though. There's a lot that we'd have to learn about him because we didn't know anything. But that's our last pick. Looking at the recap of the draft, it's kind of depressing that if you look, our final pick, which was basically Mr. Irrelevant, ended up being a 68, which isn't bad, but it's, you know, the 2nd best player overall in our draft class with Miller. Ouch, that hurts a little bit. Munford is 74, I mean, not terrible. We didn't get, you have to understand, coming in, we came in with, I think we did pretty solid for what we were looking for. We came in with a 2nd, 3rd, 2 5ths, and a 5 pick. We end up getting 6 picks, and we end up getting players at positions that can be helpful. Munford is going to start at left tackle for us. You're not going to see the depth chart here, but he's going to start at left tackle for us. We're going to kick Jenkins to right tackle. Miller's going to start at one linebacker position. They'll start on the outside, probably sending Danny over to, you know, the other outside linebacker. And we're just going to have to make that work. Mallory, thankfully, because we got Burden, will be a 3rd tight end for us. Essentially, he'll be a fullback, but he'll get some looks out there. We'll get him out there and tight end some couple formations to see what he can do. Miller, though, we're happy with. I think he's going to end up being a really solid pick for us. Normal development, but even with that, 87 speed, 85 excel. His zone coverage is 69, so he has a nice base to start with. Let's just get that play rec up, get that zone coverage up, and I think we'll be pretty happy with what we got out of him. I think he could be someone that could really have an impact on his defense. Good speed. Just have to work on the instincts. And then Peel, for where we got him, not a bad pick. Good speed, not great elite speed. Zone coverage isn't terrible. Like, we are happy with what we got out of this pick. Man coverage is not a big deal. We're not going to have our safeties playing man an awful lot. We don't do that. Anything you blitz. But he's got good acceleration. Play rec will need some work. But again, we're happy with what we got. Now, something I like to look at in every draft. Won't really look around the league because that would take forever. But there were some people that we had on our draft board that rated pretty high, reasonably high, I would say. Someone that we thought there was a good chance that we could get, but we just weren't able to get them because we didn't have picks or we made other decisions. So let's take a look at a couple of those guys. First up is Mr. Bell. We were hoping he would drop to the 5th round. We were going to nag him with the first 5th round pick we had, but he got taken by the Niners. You can see 92 speed, play rec, zone, not bad. Isaiah Likely at tight end. We definitely didn't think he would fall to us, but we had him kind of marked as, I don't know what you want to call him. Just like if he was around, we would have considered taking him. The big one that I think we may regret is DeMarvion because he's got really good speed. You can see his zone coverage is 76. Like, this guy is going to be a stud. He's got hidden development. He was the number 2 player on our board. No, Munford was 3rd. We really wanted that kid. Lewis, another safety that we had. You know, we got Peel, but we had guys rated higher above him. He was 1. Bolden was another guy that we considered looking at, but ultimately it was Lewis and Bo were the guys we really thought we could get. And then also Brian here. Hidden development. It just hurts those linebackers with hidden development. And again, zone coverage 76. Solid speed. Solid play rec to work off of. We might have swung and missed. And the very last thing we'll take a look at is the schedule. So of course, you know, there are 17 games now because there are 18 weeks. You will play your division 6 times, home and away, so 3 and 3. 6 division games, a NFC division and AFC division, they rotate. And then in the NFC, depending on what place you finish, the other 2 divisions, you play the same team that finished in that place in one random division. In the AFC, your whole division plays and it's just 1 game. So for us, boy, it's a rough start to the season. 3 road games in a row, 5 of our first 7 games on the road. We will be road warriors. If not, this season is going to be over pretty freaking fast. So, Lions, new coach, new personnel, revamped team. Vikings went 17-0, lost in the NFC title game. We have to play them twice. We'll get them early on, and then the Bills, a super formidable team, and there might be some salt in that organization because that was initially where I was drafted to. I'm super happy about it, you know, press conference and everything, and then I just bailed on them and went to Chicago, so that might be a revenge game for that organization. The Packers, we split with Aaron Rodgers last year. It'll be our first home game Monday night. So good atmosphere for our first home game against an obviously superior quarterback, one of the best to ever play the game, arguably the best ever. And then the Jets. Don't know what to make of them. They've got some young players. They've had some additions in free agency. They had a really good draft too. So we'll get them, and then we turn right back around and play their tenant, or I guess they share a MetLife. So we'll get the Giants and we'll get to play there as we host the Jets and then go on the road traveling to play the Giants and the Packers. So we'll get the Packers out the way by week 7. So the Aaron Rodgers, you know, he owns Chicago. We can get that out the way early. And then we play the defending AFC champs, the Patriots, and we get a bye. Probably comes at a good time. Packers and Patriots. And then pain, because we come off the bye. And guess what? We have 3 games on the road again. Seattle, Miami, and Tennessee. Ouch. Seattle, big win against us at the end of last year to get in the playoffs over us. The Titans will be a handful. Derrick Henry is going to be tough dealing with him. Then we get the best part of our schedule. 5 home games before we end the season at Washington. So we get the Lions at home in a rematch. We get the Vikings at home in a rematch. We get the Eagles. We get the Saints. And we get the Cowboys. Gotta make those games count, because if we don't, like we really need to do is we're gonna have to weather the storm. We're gonna have to be in a position for those games to matter, and we have to take advantage of that stretch if we have any hopes of, having playoff aspirations. That said, that will cover it for this video. We'll look at the depth chart and talk about the Lions coming up in week 1 in the next episode of this series. I will be adding season 1 down the road, but keeping it relevant for now. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. We'll keep these up probably 2 a week. Make sure to sub to the YouTube channel so you can be notified when the next one drops. Take care.